This NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series Driver Changes Part 2 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. As always, he's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, fresh off the heels of the biggest announcement in NASCAR in the last, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. I had to do it just one more time before the whole fad completely dies away. But here we are back at it. We are going to resume with our normally scheduled programming. In that last week we left off talking to you about the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series driver changes and how we pretty much felt like they were going to impact things. Now, Cody, we get to kind of analyze the rest of these drivers through the lens of this big announcement and the new championship series. So I don't know if this changes any of our feelings about the first few, but the next few, we're going to have a little more insight as to what we're going to get from this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we certainly do. And Andrew checking in wanted to know if they said the lower series playoffs were changing. Make sure you go back, listen to yesterday's episode where we broke it all down. But yes, they are changing as well. Both the O'Reilly series, formerly known as Xfinity, of course, and the Craftsman Truck Series will be running the chase format, just like the Cup Series. And they're going to keep all the sizes the same for what they did with the playoffs. So in Cup, it's 16 drivers, 10 races. Xfinity, or O'Reilly now, right, it's 12 drivers for 10 race, or 12 drivers for 9 races. And in the Truck Series, it's 10 drivers for 7 races. And it will just be they reset the one time and run the chase format through both of these series, the Craftsman Truck and, of course, the O'Reilly, which we'll finish talking about today. So, yeah, that was an exciting announcement. And we've got some other exciting news that came out today, Rod, that I'm excited to talk about as well.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that exciting news, but I also can't wait to say hello to Rye Cape, who is seeing 2 live shows in a row.
Oh, shit.
Almost thought you were saying 2 live crew. That's a hell of a concert back in the day. And then Rye also, this is why we have the swear jar in effect, keeps forgetting that they changed the name to O'Reilly. So
I literally got done making a graphic yesterday for this show. I sent it to Rod and I said, and I put O'Reilly on the things. I put the O'Reilly sticker on the graphic. I sent it to Rod and said for tomorrow's Xfinity show. And I'm like, motherfucker, I just got done everything O'Reilly and I still called it Xfinity. So
hey, listen.
Yes, we'll finish talking about the Busch series today, Rod. That's how it is.
I'm glad the Nationwide series is getting its just desserts. But Cody had some news for us, but before he breaks that news, Happy New Year, everybody. It's Happy New Year, New Gear Year. The SGPN merch store has a bunch of new items for the new year, and right now, because we love you so much, take 10% off of everything if you use the promo code 2026. I wear out I need new stuff, so I'm going to go and use this promo as well because I have overworn that. And look at Cody's got his old school, what do they call that, 3/4 whatever thing they got going on. Love that. Love my coffee mugs. Love my sweatshirts. Absolutely love my SGPN merch. You will too. Take 25% off, or 10% off rather, with that promo code 2026. Will, yep.
Will says it'll always be the Busch Series. Hey, you never know. Maybe it'll come back around to being the Busch Series. We saw that with Craftsman, right? It changed for a little while. We had Gander and Camping World, and I think there was another name in there maybe too, and it's the Craftsman Truck Series again. So who knows? Speaking of the Craftsman Truck Series, Rod, Smoke's coming back.
Woo-hoo!
Tony Stewart. Look, we best kept secret, right? We pretty much saw this coming. We've talked about it kind of throughout the offseason, but the Dodge connections, the rumors were there, and it's been officially confirmed. He will return for the race at Daytona here. So he'll be back for that. Of course, he has that Dodge Mopar partnership over in NHRA, so it worked out. He's not competed in NASCAR since 2016, and this will be his first truck race in 7,560 days.
Wow.
His last Truck Series start came 20 years, 8 months, and 10 days ago from when this time will start. So he has not started a truck race since 2005, Rod. I myself was 13 at the time. So it's been sorry to make you feel old again, Rod, but it's been quite some time since All Smoke has been in the Truck Series. And really, I mean, just to have not started any NASCAR races since 2016, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah, I mean, you look back 10 years, you can remember what you were doing back in 2016. Some of you can't remember past that. But, yeah, listen, I'm wondering, did the Craftsman Truck Series not really pull ratings to the point where now they are really pulling a lot of stuff out? And I feel like Dodge, they may have said, hey, Dodge, listen, you're the new kids on the block. Infuse some life into this, because they've got they've got the racing for the seat that they got going on right now to try to give that out for colleagues, other truck. They're bringing back Smoke. Like, colleague is, hey, listen, colleague's making noise.
Yes. Honestly, I think it's just a Dodge thing, because in 2001, when Dodge came into the sport, it was a big deal, right? And they go and get Bill Elliott, who was the most popular driver at the time. You know, they pull him over. Ray Evernham, you know, he was the leader of the Rainbow Warriors and led Jeff Gordon to all those. They put together this quote unquote super team that they're going to build, and they pour all this money into it. And, you know, Dodge was the sponsor on those cars. They were the Dodge cars. And, you know, the weekly series at the local dirt tracks went from being the NASCAR, Winston weekly series. Winston, everything went away around that time. And it's the NASCAR Dodge weekly series. Like, they just invested a flood of, it's like their marketing plan is just like dump, and then they just get up and leave, which is an interesting strategy, I guess. But they've come back around. We're at that point in the circle where they're dumping everything back into it again. So, yeah, I don't know. The Truck Series, we've been telling people for years, is one of the best series week in and week out, produces great racing constantly. So I'm glad that they are putting all this into it. Bringing names like Tony Stewart to the Truck Series is great. You know, and just kind of over the last couple of years, I guess we've seen a little bit of a shift in the Truck Series. Chris Buescher made his first start in a long time last year. Jimmy Johnson is going to come back to the Truck Series for only his second ever start in that series. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. And this O'Reilly part 2 that we're doing of this series, we did last 2 weeks ago, I guess, with the Truck Series, a part 1 and part 2, going through the lineup. And holy hell, it's a good lineup in the Truck Series this year. That series is going to be extremely competitive week in and week out, and championships wide open. These Ram trucks coming in brings a whole other element of things. And you look at the lineup, our guy Ash did a nice little thing in the Discord there where he kind of summarized everything. But their lineup for Daytona, you got Brenna Butterbean Queen, Daniel Dye, Justin Haley, former Cup guy. Now you have Tony Stewart, and you have that 5th race for the seat driver that we're going to learn on Fox over the next couple of weeks who gets to take that ride, and they'll be in there. So they are doing big things for the sport, which is great to see. Big things for the Truck Series, which is great to see. And I would stick by it. The Truck Series is one of the more exciting. I mean, they're all three very exciting, but I love watching the truck races every week.
Well, and then, like you said, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. We were breaking down all the driver changes in that this is, like last season, we were like, okay, Corey Haim's going to run away with this. We already knew it, and it happened, and we just, that was a foregone conclusion, right? Well, now Corey Haim's not there anymore, And it really does open things up for a lot of different possibilities. Lane Riggs, I don't think, is going to run away with this whole thing. So it makes these races exciting. It makes the fact that Jimmy Johnson will be in a truck race, like you said. I mean, I was going to bring that up if you didn't anyways. Jimmy Johnson coming back into the truck series, right, for the race at Coronado. There's so much going on in the truck series this season that I beg you, if you're one of those people that just like, well, I just watch Cup on Sunday, that's fine. But look, not only do you get a glimpse into the future Cup drivers when you watch the truck series, but you're really treated to, and it's not even a huge time investment. These truck races are usually done within about an hour and a half, 2 hours, even shorter than a football game, right? It's there. It's a few quick laps and it's done, but it's all good racing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I absolutely love it. Will is not a fan of the Dodge lineup. He doesn't think, he says, I think Dodge will be mad after the 5-truck team doesn't do well. None of their drivers excite me. It's an interesting take. Justin Haley. I think Justin Haley's a pretty exciting driver there. You know, he's not necessarily all that flashy, but I think he'll do well. I guess outside of that, I mean, Brendan Queen, Butterbean Queen, I think will have some good spots, right? We talked specifically short tracks. I think he'll run well. Overall, the season might be a struggle. Daniel Dye, you're going to get some great camera shots out of him. Michael Waltrip's going to love the fuck out of him being back in the truck series because he just is infatuated with him. And then it's going to be exciting. Tony Stewart being in that car. We've heard the rumors of Casey Kane. You know, Rowdy and I were kind of talking in the Discord earlier. Maybe you get a Kurt Busch for a Las Vegas or something to come back to Dodge. He drove with Dodge in the Penske days. And I think they're going to make that truck exciting throughout the year. So performance-wise, we'll see. You know, obviously Tony Stewart, who knows what's going to happen here at Daytona. But, I don't know. I guess as an overall look at the Dodge Ram team, Justin Haley kind of excites me. Outside of that, it's probably a lot of we'll see. We don't even know who the 5th driver will be.
From a week-to-week basis, too, because they're giving that thing away. So, all right, couple of things before we head to break. Will, talking about Heim, still not announced his ride for 2026. I don't think it's not he hasn't announced it. I just feel like there isn't one out there for him.
There isn't one. Joe Gibbs and Toyota just wasting them away.
Blowing it. I'm telling you, bring him to Dodge. Rye Cape, love trucks, sets the tone for the weekend. Hey, we know, and we do exactly that. So,
agreed.
All right, we got some Xfinity. Oh, yeah, swear jar. We got some O'Reilly series. I almost did that on purpose because I want that swear jar to be so big by the end of it we could throw a party with all the proceeds. But no, we'll talk more about the O'Reilly series after the break. Got to catch up on a few of our drivers that we got. But first, I want to introduce you first and foremost to our friends over at AVO. Make more money betting sports with AVO. That's AVO. AVO is the best sports betting tool that helps you make a pretty profit every time you decide to place bets. They do this by spotting arbitrage and plus EV opportunities for you faster than the competitors, and they keep you organized in one place. If you're new to arbitrage betting, you can find opportunities in the market where you make money betting on both sides to lock in a profit. Plus, they've got the cleanest dashboard that you have ever seen. Honestly, listen, and you know that a lot of times we read these and sometimes we don't really always do it, but I am on now AVO as of the other day. Listen, I've been looking for a sports betting tracker for a very long time because while I like Excel, while it's great, absolutely not an Excel geek. So AVO doesn't make me have to use Excel. I love it already. So sports tracking, betting tracking, all that great stuff, the arbitrage opportunities, so great. It's easy to understand and to use. Even I can do it. But if you can't do it, they also teach you how to use it by step-by-step video guides in case you have questions. Sign up, pick the sports books you use, and let AVO tell you how much to bet to guarantee a profit. Are you still unsure? Check out their free Discord at AVO Official. That's AVO Official. And find the success people are having for themselves. Get started now at avo.bet. Use promo code SGPN for $18 off. That's avo.bet, promo code SGPN for $18 off. Told you at the top of the show about Kalshi. Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. In all 50 states, you can trade a ton of markets, including the NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL. Any of those ring a bell? How about a lot more than that? Plus, you can even trade props like first TDs. Besides sports, they got tons of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell. You want to trade on the weather? go ahead. With Kalshi, you can trade on anything. Looking right now at the Kalshi markets, it is fantastic. How about the Oscar for Best Actor? Kalshi is giving us Timothy Chalamet. I like to call him Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong. Or Leonardo DiCaprio. Timothy, a heavy 78 cents on the trade for the yes if he ends up winning. $100 investment's going to get you $129. Head over there now. Make sure you get that done. If you're a new Kalshi customer, get $20 when you use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. I really am loving these sports prediction markets as of late. They are getting so creative with them, and it's a breath of fresh air, especially for those of us in non-legal betting states. We can actually get the feel of it without actually doing it. So love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And just there's so many different things, especially like NFL coaching world right now, possibly the craziest coaching cycle we've ever had, with long-term guys leaving teams and getting fired, and who's going to land where, and all sorts of stuff to predict. It's a good time to be alive, Rod.
It's a fantastic time to be alive, especially, so as we left off, the last, if you remember that far back, with Fry Cape says he doesn't remember yesterday. I'm with you, buddy. I don't remember yesterday at all.
Well, the good news about that is you can go back and listen to the first episode of this, even if you already have. If you don't remember it, and it'll be like brand new all over again.
See, you should do it. Yeah, if you forgot what the last episode sounded like, go back and listen to it, and you'll get caught up. But we did leave off on the mustache. We left off on the Sam Hunt drivers of the 24 and 26. So let's move to the Jordan Anderson Racing Chevy of 27. That will be Harrison Burton's cousin once more, Jeb, taking the seat in that one. We obviously saw Jeb and Harrison, especially at the end there, go at it because they were fighting for playoff spots. And that was a fun little competition.
Playoffs in NASCAR, Rod? What's that?
I'm sorry. Not anymore, but they were when it happened. So, no, a lot of fun down the stretch for the Burton cousins. And, yeah, I mean, look, we know Jeb's going to stay competitive in that 27, so this is not really that big of a thing to analyze other than, welcome back to the 27.
Yeah, we love it. Look, this is a guy that, when we get opportunities for O'Reilly top 10s, we're going to look to Jeb. I mean, Jeb and Harrison were the kind of the first go-tos last year of, okay, are we getting good numbers on them top 10? You bet them just about every week, because capable of delivering a top 10 each and every week. Super Speedway is always going to be in the mix to win those races. We've seen him do it before and how close he got, in particular, Talladega last year and all that. So, yeah, you love to see a partnership like this continuing. He's done a great job of building that ride, and he does great in it each and every year. So love to see him back, and excited to have good opportunities to bet on him and use him in DFS this year. Yeah,
he's always been just a solid guy that that, especially in betting purposes, like you said, if there's top 10s out there, that you could put a top 10 bet on him and actually feel good about the possibility of it cashing. And, for Jeb, we are going to be bringing him up quite a bit in the overall. I mean, he did finish 14th overall in the standings, 8 top 10s in the series in 2025. Average finish of 17.2, but I mean, with runs like a 6th place at Martinsville, 6th place on the Roval, 7th place at Portland, you knew you could get good runs out of him when you needed it. So, happy to see Jeb Burton back in that 27. Let's move on to the number 28. I will just concede the floor and allow Cody to pretty much lay all the pomp and circumstance on his young Kyle Sieg.
Oh, wrong Sieg, brother.
No, it's fine. You have them both. I've given you both of them.
Well, thank you. Kyle will be back in the 28 for the family team, so that's great to see, Rod. I'm very excited for him. They're going to be switching from Ford to Chevrolet, so that's a positive. So, yeah.
That's all he can say about Kyle.
That's all I got. With Kyle, we'll get there. Right? I mean, cheap DFS play at times, but he is no Ryan, that's for sure. So, he's an okay driver. You might use him occasionally DFS. That's about the max. Probably not a guy you're really going to bet on ever. So, no. That's just how it goes. Andrew, circling back around to Jeb Burton. Jeb and Dean top 10 every week. Yeah, Dean Thompson we talked about on part 1 of this episode. Very excited for him, and he's partnering up with Harrison Burton, right? In the 24. So yeah, though that's going to be a very fun team this year. And Jess checking in. Good afternoon,
Not trucks,
guys. She
but
says,
hi, Jess.
Good afternoon, Jess. It's not trucks, but hey, O'Reilly's fun too.
Indeed. All right, so that moves us to the number 30 Barrett Cope Racing.
This is the most excited one. I'm most excited for this because I just want to hear you pronounce this guy's name, Rod.
Okay, you want me to go for it? Here we go. That is going to occupy one Baltazar Leguizamon. That is, yep.
I would have not got anywhere close to that.
Baltazar
so shout out to you.
Leguizamon.
You're so great at that.
I'm sorry.
But,
Leguizamon. You got to get the mon. That's what you got to get.
Yes. He'll be part-time in that 30 car for Derek Cope and the Barrett Cope thing. They're obviously going to piece together a schedule like they did last year. He did make one start last year. He's an Argentinian driver, road course specialist. So you're going to see him at Coda. You're going to see him at Watkins Glen. That type of stuff. I don't know. Might be a guy you take a peek at just because he's got the road racing background, but probably not a guy we'll talk much about.
Well, and really, honestly, when you look at all of his success, it does come from the Argentinian racing part of it. He did he debuted at Coda last year in 2025. But mechanical issues, 37th place finish, not really a banner day for him. So that was the first crack he got at it. Obviously, this year.
So they have combined this with Stanton Barrett as well. So it's now Barrett Cope Racing instead of just Derek Cope's team. He's got good intentions, right? It's not the best equipment. Maybe combining the teams will help a little bit, but it's not a very good car. So he might be a guy you take a peek at for a road course DFS, really long shot top 10 if it's going to be that, just because he's got really, some road racing experience, stuff like that. But outside of that, just not a car we'll talk about much throughout the year.
He is confirmed for Martinsville in March, too. That should be a pretty fun adventure, short track racing for the road course guy. All right, then let's move on to the number 31, another Jordan Anderson racing driver, Blaine Perkins. Look, we really just talked about him a lot last year in terms of DFS. He was one of those guys where we were not really betting on him because obviously Blaine Perkins not going to get you too many top 10 finishes. In fact, he's only going to get you 4 all of last season in 33 races. His average finish, 23.7. It really was just a DFS guy, a really, really inexpensive DFS guy on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I think we've spent enough time talking about Blaine Perkins in the 31 car, Rod. So
I'm sure Blaine Perkins' mom wants to hear a little more about him. Come on, Cody.
I don't know that she does. I think that she knows what she has. And he's in the series, so great for him. It's good to see him back. But, moving on. I think, so the number 32 Jordan Anderson car is going to be running full-time. Roger Carruth is going to run 10 of the races to fill out his schedule, but I say we save the conversation for him for when we get to the 88 ride where he will more so be racing for the title in that.
I agree with you on that one too. So yeah, let's 32 obviously will be shared occupied. We don't really know the second half of that yet. They haven't really set that driver in stone. Much like the number 35 Joey Gase machine, which is still up in the air. There's no driver, no sponsors listed for this yet. So I don't even know, Cody, if that's going to be a full-time ride next year, is it?
They'll probably piece together. I'm sure we'll see them out there majority of the time. We tend to see them out there. You probably get Joey in that car a little bit, along with, the weekly, hey, I brought some money, I'll jump in the car. We found a partner for this race. That's just kind of what that car is. And occasionally a Joey Gase type of guy is a good driver when it comes to DFS type stuff. So might talk about the car, but probably not much.
You 100% have to love how that happens in the sport of NASCAR. It's like, hey, I've got enough money to put this car on the track. Let me be the guy to put it out there on the track this week. So, look, man, pay to play, right?
Rent a ride.
Rent a ride.
Will says, and it's part of the sport, and honestly, it's an important part of the sport because we do need those cars. We need the field fillers, if you will, and we need all the money we can get in the sport. This isn't a stick and ball sport. That's not that those sports are cheap to put on either, but this is much more expensive than most sports are. So those cars are important as well. Just, when it comes to betting, we spent too much time on it once again.
Yes, we did. Okay. All right, fine then.
Somebody we can never spend too much time on, Ron.
Now, Cody, now I will turn you loose to heap all the praise in the world on the number 39 car. I gave you the other Sieg, but you want this one.
Oh, Ryan Sieg, one of my favorites. Look, he's just been a guy that's reliable for us that we can bet on just about every week. You can use him in DFS just about every week. If you go over to Will's fantasy sports site, I don't know if they have any openings this year. Maybe they do. Will, I'll give you a little plug there. He runs some great stuff over there. But this is a guy I'll use often in the Xfinity or O'Reilly this year. See, that's how you save yourself, Rod. If you mess it up, you just or O'Reilly this. We got to remind people. There
could be one or two people that forgot.
Yeah, he forgot. So just reminding him. But no, this is a guy you can use just about each and every single week. I mean, when it comes to super speedways, we always run the car lift on Ryan Sieg because he's great at them. But outside of that, the program they put together, they partnered up with Haas a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden, mile and a half's top 10 contender each and every single week. And then that partnership has continued. Well, so much so that Haas switched to Chevrolet this year, and so did RSS. So they're going to continue that partnership right along with it. That's going to bring JRM, Hendrick, all that more into the fold even more so. This car is going to continue to be good. It'll be a top 10 car each and every single week. He'll be a competitor for a top 5 each and every single week. And he's good on all track types and at all tracks. So Ryan Sieg, not the flashiest of guys, right? He's not going to go out and win every single week. He doesn't have any career wins yet, but he's a guy you're going to be able to bet on a lot and a guy that you're going to be able to rely on DFS purposes, betting wise. So love him there. And yes, Will does say they have some openings. The fantasysportsite.com, we'll give them a quick plug because I play a ton of games over there. They've got IndyCar, F1, trucks, O'Reilly, Cup, more than one Cup thing. And they also, a couple of the guys over there have football contests. There's like arena, indoor football, all sorts of stuff throughout the entire year. So all those guys over there, super great. The fantasysportsite.com. Check that out and sign up to play with those guys because they are a ton of fun.
That's why we have the best family in the entire world out here in this show for sure.
And I forgot to send it to you, Rod, but they so for their entries this year or whatever, you have like you're assigned a car or you pick a car number and a manufacturer and you have a sponsor and everything. So of course my sponsor is NASCAR Gamble Podcast. But this year they've made cars with the sponsors on them for the game. So we got a pretty sweet looking 72. I think I went with Toyota. I can't remember.
Of course,
72 NASCAR gambling car. It looks pretty sweet, so I'll have to send it to you.
Beautiful, absolutely love it. This is why Cody is the brand ambassador for this show. But no, just to put a bow on Ryan Sieg. Look, he did finish 15th in the standings last season. Overall, 10 top 10s, 3 top 5s. Like you said, just a guy that we're going to be continually talking about. You're at least going to be continually talking about a ton over the course of the season. Because I never put Ryan Sieg on the sheet because I know Cody's got him covered. So this is why you always hear him talk about it.
I generally find a way to work him in just about every week. But again, he's just so reliable. And like Will said, the Siegs and Kyle too as well, just not to the same degree Ryan does. Betting purpose-wise, not as easily to use him, but they make the most out of very little. They don't have a ton, but they make the most out of what they do have. And Ryan is a very good race car driver. So a guy that we'll just continue to highlight because he's made us a ton of money over the years.
Indeed. Speaking of somebody who's made us some money over the years, the 41 Haas team is now a Chevy team, as we talked about earlier with the Cole Custer discussion. But now Haas Factory is the manufacturer for Haas, or Chevy is the manufacturer for Haas. And now Sam Mayer going to be returning to that 41 again for another run at it. Obviously, Sam Mayer, somebody who... Look, we heralded, right? He finished 10th in the standings, but he had 13 top 5 finishes, 18 top 10 finishes. His average finish was 11.5. His average start was 8.1. I don't know that Sam Mayer is slowing down at all, except for the fact that he only got one win, right? He turned all of those fantastic finishes into just one win. I think he breaks through and maybe has a couple more. Connor Zilch is gone. We know that Sam Mayer is a good road course guy. So, well, they'll bring Connor back for the road course.
San Diego, though, when we go to that race, it's only to be O'Reilly regulars because they announced that any of the full-time guys, I mean, guys like Jimmy Johnson can run all 3 series, but the full-time guys can't run, so you won't have Zillich, you won't have SVG, you won't have Allmendinger, You won't have Suarez or Chastain or any of those guys. That's going to be a great spot for him. Definitely probably be on him. But as we get closer to the season, Rod, this might be a Sam Mayer year. I might be all aboard the 41 train. So stay tuned when the championship odds come out. As we're still awaiting those, but I'm liking Sam Mayer this year. I think we're going to see a really, really good season out of the 41 car.
I'm hoping for it because you know me. I mean, obviously I still have a soft spot for him from his days at JRM, and when he moved over to Haas Factory, it was a good move for him because he needed to get out from underneath that, right? I mean, with the Ziliches out there, with the Allgaiers out there, and even the Sammy Smiths when that was there, it felt like Sam Mayer was getting lost in the shuffle as well in that one car, and then Carson Kvapil also moving into it. So yeah, Sammy Smith, like you said, just somebody who returning, going to be a good driver for Haas again this year. That takes us to the number 42, where there's tons of upside down question marks in that young Motorsports car. Don't know, Cody. And honestly, at this point in the season, we keep talking about it because we're only a few days now away from the Clash, right? And then even fewer, and a little more to the Daytona 500. Where are these drivers coming from, right? They're just going to have to be a lot of part-time, rent-a-rides, like Will said.
Yeah. Again, there's Corey Heim, Nick Sanchez are the two big names that are still out there. This is obviously a Chevrolet ride, so not going to be a Corey Heim type of ride. Maybe you do see a Nick Sanchez type get in here. But I will say this young Motorsports car has been pretty good over the years. And if you get a decent enough driver in there for some of these races, especially on super speedways, it's been a car that's been really good. And their program on super speedways back in the Truck Series, that Spencer Boyd, when I hit that 120-1 on him to win in the Truck Series at Talladega, it was driving a Young's Motorsports truck. So they're very good on the super speedway side of things. And depending on who they get in there for some of these races, maybe a long shot, top 10, probably more of a DFS type play. So want to see who ends up in the race, in each race, or if it's one driver that ends up being there. But it is for a back marker car, an actually fairly decent car, I will say.
Yeah, again, this is just one of those guys that you'll just keep an eye on week to week. I don't know that we'll be talking much about it unless they bring a really big name in for betting purposes. So obviously just keep an eye out for the 42 being out there. I know somebody we're going to talk about a ton when it comes to DFS, baby. And listen, some offshoot top 10s, that 44 Alpha Prime Racing Chevy, Brendan Poole.
Oh.
Yeah, Frosted Tips. Yeah, that's the cereal for Brendan Poole. Frosted Tips. He doesn't eat Frosted Flakes. He eats Frosted Tips. So, no, Brendan Poole, somebody we talked a lot about last season, especially in DFS purposes, was just one of those guys that was inexpensive but kept sneaking finishes that made him well worth the investment in DFS.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy that you can use just about every single week. I mean, there were weeks where it was like, God, should we talk about him for the 10th week in a row on the DFS show? Because he just keeps panning out week after week. So he's always a guy that's going to be super cheap down at the bottom of the board. We've talked about a few of these guys in the first episode of this, but just reliable guys you can go back to and get a good floor on. So he is definitely one of those guys in that 44 for Alpha Prime.
Definitely cannot wait for that because I just want to toss much like we did with Noah Gragson when he had his suit open. We love flashing graphics of cool guys, and Brendan Poole's got the Frosted Tips to show. So, all right,
he is a pretty cool guy.
He is a pretty cool guy. Let's talk more about some of these drivers, but I want to get to a fun little discussion about Underdog Fantasy because Underdog is your home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Underdog's bringing the playoff magic all playoffs long. Every playoff weekend, open that Underdog app to see what promos are waiting for you. NFL, it is the divisional round of the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills traveling to see the Denver Broncos, and James Cook is unstoppable. Underdog has his projection right now of 78.5 rushing yards. Listen, I almost don't care at this point that he hasn't hit in the last 3 games in a row. It's James Cook. I think if you can keep him down for a 4th game in a row, you are superhuman. So give me the higher than 78.5 rushing yards for James Cook. He's been quiet too long. It's like a simmering pot. It's going to blow over. And when it does, you're going to be happy that it does. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. Get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code RACE, SG, SGPN. Rhythm has crushed it in the NFL this season, especially on props. Last season, they were even better in the playoffs. You want a little proof of that one? How about 2-0 on interception props? But I'll even give you even more proof on that one. 6-1 on passing TD props. That is impressive. Super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or make your own and play with the sliders. Looking right now at that Bills and Broncos game, let's take a look at the passing yards for Josh Allen. They are telling you to take the under 2.5, 10 passing yards for Josh Allen. This is at -114. Rhythm is saying that Josh Allen is going to be handing the ball off more to James Cook, which, guess what, plays perfectly into the underdog prediction. God, I love when things come together, when a plan comes together. Are you looking to go premium on Rhythm? Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm. Use promo code SGPN25.
That was some pretty amazing correlation you found there, Rod. Although I will say the only over or higher than on the Bills that I'll be taking is what time their flight for Cabo is scheduled. Because as we know, it's about that time where the Bills choke it away in the playoffs, which is honestly one of my favorite traditions every NFL postseason is just watching the Bills once again be one of the worst franchises in the history of the NFL and never winning a single thing ever.
What do the kids say? Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. Oh, wait, no, that was a long time ago. Nobody says that anymore.
It sounded good anyways.
Hey, listen, it's part of a Beastie Boys trip. If you guys don't know, go get yourself in there. Save me, Cody.
Yes, TK will save us. He's checking in from New Zealand, of course. So it looks like there won't be any AU. So I brought up the San Diego when we were talking about Sam Mayer. Looks like there won't be any Australian supercars drivers in San Diego either. Same weekend as a race for them. So maybe a best non-active driver, Jack Perkins, could try again maybe, but you won't have an SVG coming in out of nowhere to steal that O'Reilly race is what he's saying, I believe.
Hey, works for me, man. The more of the guys that we get to see on week-to-week basis that can compete, the merrier. I love it. So, all right, speaking of competing on a week-to-week basis, we get Patrick Starr back in the car for a full season. In the number.
Oh, you skipped one, Rod. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you're excited about Patrick Starr.
I am excited. But LeVar, okay, you're right. LeVar Scott in the number 45, Alpha Prime Racing. Look, this is an ARCA Series guy that has done very well for himself. He finished third in 2023 in the ARCA Menard Series East, and then second in the ARCA Menard Series last year, actually, both last year and in 2024. So, you know, we see these ARCA kids, and yeah, I'm going to call him a kid because he was born in 2003. 22 years old. Yeah, he's a kid. But yeah, these guys, I mean, they come up, man, and they really start tearing the ARCA Series up, and they come and they do well in the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series, and LeVar Scott's another one of those up-and-comers that we're going to be paying attention to for a good long time, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely a guy to keep an eye on. We'll see DFS-wise. Probably not going to be really a lot of ways to bet on him, but it's a driver that seems to have quite a bit of talent. So we'll see what he can do in a not very good car, right? Alpha Prime cars are typically that great, but we'll see what he's able to do with that and you know, potentially turn that into a bigger ride at some point in time. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on, if nothing else.
Yeah, he did make a start, a pretty decent finish, 15th at Gateway earlier this year, or last year rather. So, you know, 15th at Gateway in the Alpha Prime 45. Can't really
that might put him in the conversation for some top 10 long shots then if he can keep up runs like that, especially doing that in just a single start for them.
Indeed. All right, then let's go now to the 48 where Patrick Starr has his entirely, and the 48 car obviously we know has been piloted by the likes of Parker Kligerman. It was piloted by Nick Sanchez last season. But now Patrick Starr is bringing I'll call him by his whole name, Patrick Staropoli. I can't even finish it because I want to just say Star. Is going to be in that ride. And obviously he's a dentist. Now he's a full-time race car driver. So I don't know if he just left his dentistry in the hands of like his partner.
I think he might be an eye doctor. I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like he's an eye doctor. Also a character on SpongeBob if you haven't seen Patrick Starr. But he did steal this ride from Nick Sanchez. I mean, not really have any fault of his own, right? Obviously, he had more funding than Sanchez was bringing. I'm sad that Sanchez is not in this ride because I think what Sanchez was doing in this ride was very good. Kligerman obviously built this ride up. They had guys like Reddick stepping in before when he was with Chevrolet and dialing things in. Kligerman takes over, has a couple of great seasons. Sanchez has a really good season last year, gets booted out of that ride late. Now he's kind of sitting there holding the bag at the moment. We've gone through these lists. There's still some open rides out there, so hopefully he'll land one of these, obviously. But I'll be interested to see what he'll be the doctor of DNFs this year. But good job, Will. Thank you.
Damn.
That's good, but you might not be wrong. Not a guy I'm racing to the board to bet on or throw into fantasy lineups, that's for sure. We'll see what he can do. Has some starts in JGR equipment. Obviously, that's superior to this equipment. Didn't do anything great with those starts that I can recall. So, I don't know. Not overly excited about him.
Last season made 4 starts in the Sam Hunt 24, average finish of 22.5. He had a 16th place finish at Martinsville, crashed out at Atlanta, 27th at Kansas, or 22nd at Kansas, rather, 17 at Martinsville. And really, he's only had 4 or 5 Craftsman Truck Series starts as well. And by the way, he is an eye doctor, so I hate him a little less.
This is just... I don't know. It really sucks to not see Nick Sanchez in this ride again, especially the way that all went down. Because I think if you hold these two guys up next to each other, Sanchez is the guy you're taking for performance. Starpoli clearly is a doctor. He's the guy you're taking for money. The money wins out. And I think the results are going to show that the money won out.
I think you could be right. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that 48, see where it goes. And again, it may just be a DFS guy week after week if he turns poor qualifying efforts into solid top 20 finishes, then we'll be on it for DFS all season long. All right. Somebody else we probably will spend too much time talking about, number 51, Jeremy Clements. He is coming back, bringing his whole host of sponsors with them. And honestly, again, this is another one of those guys where we do kind of pull ourselves to the bottom of the DFS board to just look and see, can we play him this week? Is this a punt play for us? And what are we doing with it? Because I don't know how many times we've really brought him up for a top 10 finish, Cody.
Yeah, probably not so much. I mean, Talladega, Daytona, those types of tracks, he's good. He's won at Talladega before. But outside of that, DFS guy, certainly another one of those. You know, the O'Reilly Series really is the perfect spot for these family teams where these guys own the teams. They own the equipment. They work on the cars. They know what goes into it, so they're much better at taking care of their equipment, getting it to the end. This is another example of that. He's always cheap in DFS, so he'll be a guy you play there. You might peek at him when we get to the super speedways because he has won before at Dega. He is capable of that type of thing. Outside of that, probably not a guy you're going to take for a top 10 any given week, and certainly not a top 5.
Yeah, 9th place at Daytona last year, 11th at Atlanta, followed up with another solid finish at the second Atlanta race with a 10th place finish there. So, yeah, just a guy that we'll talk about top 10s, but we'll talk about him very sparsely. He's only had 4 of them last year. He had as many DNFs as he had top 10s. So, yeah, not somebody that we're going to be banging the drum for, but we will pick our spots with Jeremy Clements. How about the number 53 Joey Gase Motorsports car? This is where we've got Joey Gase penciled in with a giant question mark by him. And then Austin J. Hill, not to be confused with the Austin Hill. This is Austin J. Hill.
J stands for not terrorist. Austin, not terrorist Hill. So, yeah, Joey Gase, another guy that, again, you know, cheap guy each and every week. You can rely on him to get you a good finish. Just repeat everything we've said for a couple of these other guys. It's the same story with Joey Gase. So he's a reliable guy like that. He'll be in the 53. He'll be in the 35. He'll end up in one of these rides most of the season. And Austin J. Hill is not notable.
This is where,
other than to say, don't take him accidentally thinking you're getting Austin the terrorist Hill.
This is where they take that little mustache and they slap it on, and he's like, I am Austin J. Hill. And he's twisting his mustache like, I am not Austin Hill. I am Austin J. Hill.
Yes, and that's the best thing about him.
If Austin J. Hill doesn't have a mustache, I'm buying him one. All right, let's not talk about Austin J. Hill anymore. Let's talk about one of Cody's favorite drivers of all time. The driver of the number 54, Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. No, not that one. Taylor Gray is the guy that we're talking about here in the O'Reilly Series. Coming back again. Yeah, Cody. He made noise last year.
The 2026 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series champion, Taylor Gray?
You did.
Is
call
that who you're talking about, Rod?
You did call that last year.
I love some Taylor Gray. And year 2 coming back in this car, super, super excited. You know, we talked about on the other episode about the other JGR rides and how we think, you know, Brandon Jones is going to have another great season. Brent Cruz, the up-and-comer. But this is the one I'm most excited about. Honestly, one of the drivers I'm most excited about going into this season. The guy like Connor Zilic, yes, he'll still be around and running some races, but not in there full time. It's going to open up the things in the field a little bit. You've got Taylor Gray, who's proven to be a really good driver. And JGR, I'm going to continue to say it is still the better equipment. It's the best equipment in the series. And year 2 returning to this team, I think that we're going to see a lot of good things from Taylor Gray. I think we're going to start checking off some wins. And I think he will be in competition for the championship at the end of the year.
Well, and we saw it too. We knew this was coming when he came and did what he did at the Truck Series. Now, granted, he wasn't on the same level as a Corey Heim or a Christian Eckes or these guys, but he was always in that mix. He was always top 3, top 5 conversation, right? And he was getting it done, which is what earned him the right up there.
Yeah, we were early to the Taylor Gray. I mean, we were on him from day one when he came into the Truck Series. It was slow, right? It took a little bit of time, but you started to see it. And you're right, it never became a Corey Heim or an Eckes where he's winning every weekend or anything, but continually competing, being in the mix. We saw that last year, right? There were some bumps in the road, but a pretty solid season. Now you got another year to double down on that and build on. I think we're getting really close to the Taylor Gray breakout where we're going to turn around and be like, oh, damn, he's good.
We're OG shifties. That is the truth.
That's right.
15 top 10s last year in the then Xfinity Series, 7 top 5s, and that 1 win, average finish of 15th, average start of 10th. So lots to build on, lots of excitement to be had in that 54. That will be the 54 that I continue to cheer for. Let's not get it twisted. If you hear me cheering for the 54, understand that I'm talking about the O'Reilly Series because.
Well, I will note that the owner of the 54 car listed as one Tyrone Gibbs for the record.
My glasses are. I can't see that, so I don't get what's going on there. But again, Taylor Gray, just keep an eye out for him. His brother Tanner's still tooling around in the Truck Series. All right, let's go to the 71 DGM Racing Chevy. Ryan Ellis is not returning. Obviously, we talked about him taking another ride here earlier in the other part of the season, right? Or not other part of the season, the other part of the episode that we were doing. So Ryan Ellis not in that one. So I think they're looking for somebody to fill that 71. Too bad it's a Chevy and not a Toyota, right, Cody?
Too bad. Another ride we can't give to Corey Heim. So, nothing really notable about this car. Ellis was fine in it, but he's another one of those veterans that's been around for a while, knows what he's doing. So, on to a car that I am very excited about, Rod.
Yeah, and this is one name that continually will come up, especially on road courses, because you absolutely love you some Austin Green. Austin Green now going to be full-time in the number 87 Peterson Racing Chevy. Look, this is big for him. He only made 13 starts last year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, 8 the season before, so he's only got 21 full-time or starts in the O'Reilly Series. Now he's making a full-time run at it, and 5 top 10 finishes in 13 starts last season in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. That's already enough to bang the drum on because, Mexico City 7th, Chicago 9th, Sonoma 11th, Watkins Glen 7th, Portland 8th, Charlotte Roval 2nd. We know where his specialty lies.
Yeah, another guy we've been on since day one. If you're an OG NASCAR fan, David Green's son. Obviously, the Green brothers were in the Cup Series for a long time, but this is David's son, so that's a cool another connection there. But yeah, we've been on him since his first career Xfinity start came out, and I don't remember if he got us the top 10 or really close to cashing the bet. Either way, the sweat made it worth it, and we've been in ever since. Obviously, you read off all the top 10s last year and some top 5s in there as well. So we've had, actually, I believe I remember correctly now, I think we only had top 5s at the time, and he finished in the top 10, but got close to cashing us the bet. So, yeah, he's a guy we'll continue to be on road courses in particular. We'll see how the oval program shapes up. He doesn't have a ton of oval experience. He's come up more through the road course and karting stuff. But it's obviously shown because in not great rides, I mean, the Peterson car isn't really expected to be that good of a team, but he's well in lesser equipment on road courses. So very excited to see him continue to progress and hopefully continue to get some good numbers on him as we bet him.
Yeah, that first start was at Coda where he came in 7th and then turned around for a 4th place run at Sonoma a couple of weeks later with a 15th in Portland mixed in between there, but that was in the 32 Sam Hunt car. So, yeah, obviously if you can get a 7th place finish at a road course in a Sam Hunt car, the Jordan Anderson car, not Sam Hunt car. But even still, good equipment.
Yeah. And as TK points out, a cool second at the Roval for Green, impressively close to Connor Zilich after a late restart ending there. So, it was, I remember thinking like, oh, there's a shot on this restart that if he can disturb Zilich enough, maybe he could take this, and that would have been crazy cash for us. But the second place definitely paid well as well. So, he'll be a guy we continue to be in on, especially on the road courses.
Indeed. All right, we said we would save the Raja Carruth conversation to the number 88 Junior Motorsports Chevy. One of the biggest rides to be vacated over the course of the offseason because it was not the champion car that got vacated. No, it was, in fact, the run.
Well, yeah, Rod, but if they would have done the chase last year, even though everybody would have raced completely differently, and this is completely and totally irrelevant, and we're just wasting our time, he would have won the championship. So I hope you feel better now knowing that.
I hope everybody does sleep better, but they won't. And Raja Carruth inherits rides into that number 88. Now, again, we talked about it. He'll be splitting his time between the 88, and the other JRM car out there. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I wish that they would have been able to pull enough money to get him just to be able to stay in the 88 the whole time. But, bringing Connor Zilich back, I think he'll probably maybe take a couple of these. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't remember. The JRM is so weird this year. I don't remember exactly the plan. So Carruth is going to run, there's 30 races? 32 races maybe for O'Reilly. Whatever it is, he's going to run 10 races for Jordan Anderson in the 32 car. But those will all be earlier in the season. Basically, his championship run, assuming he can make the chase, the 12 drivers in the chase, will be in the 88. That's where he'll run for the championship. They're going to have some other guys in that car, but Zilich is actually, I think what the deal is Zilich is going to run the 1 and Quapple is going to come over to the 88.
Yes.
Again, it's just confusing. Why not just whatever? It doesn't. Dale obviously knows what he's doing. Kelly knows what she's doing. We're not going to argue with them, but it doesn't make a ton of sense. But he's going to run the full season, but 10 of the races will be in the 32 for Jordan Anderson. A bulk of the season, the rest of the races will be in the 88. And from what Dale had said before, essentially the championship run, at the time they were talking about playoffs because that was obviously still, we didn't know what the format was going to be, but the championship run would be in the 88 car where he'll, you would assume at this point, run the entire chase in the 88 car, assuming he makes the top 12 and compete for the title in that.
There's a big shell game going on there that I'm not 100% sure what's going on and why.
It's got to be sponsorship and number correlate. That's the only thing I can think of is maybe Bass Pro specifically wants only to be on the 1 car, but they want Zilich to be part of that. There's got to be something going on there. I don't know. Again, they know what they're doing over there, and they've got it all pieced together no matter what to get these guys competing. So, but Carruth, as far as he goes, this car obviously, was the best car last year. We don't expect Carruth to be Connor Zilich this year, as nobody should, but we know he's a very good driver. Hit that 81 for us. We'll never forget that one, right? At Las Vegas a couple years ago in the Truck Series. He'll be competing a lot. I don't know that he wins multiple races this year. I think a win would be nice for him. But he's got the backing of Mr. H. He's got the backing of Dale Jr. And that's in this sport, those are 2 pretty good guys to have in your corner.
Look, all I'm saying is that he is getting an opportunity here that a lot of these other drivers that we've talked about would absolutely kill for. So what he's got to do now is just go out and deliver. I know he knows it. Believe me, anybody stepping into that 88 machine knows that they've got themselves a hell of a ride and a hell of a team around them. So let's hope that Raja Carruth takes advantage of that. Obviously, we will be picking our spots with him because he's going to be good, and maybe a lot of that will come when the 88 car is his main source of getting around the track. So, again, we'll keep an eye on that situation. Obviously, we'll have to break down for you who's in what ride before every race. Because
that's why we go through the entry list on all the pick shows for stuff like that. But it's going to be even more important this year when JRM is playing fucking, swap the cup, and you got to figure out who's under which cup and try and keep it straight for, again, whatever reason.
Yeah, not necessarily fun, that instance. All right, let's go to the 91 DGM Racing Chevy of Mason Maggio. He will be back. Cody, any words other than...
Yeah, it'll be part-time. Sadly, Balicki won't be in this, but I think we talked about Balicki being in a different ride, being a regular guy we use in DFS. Maggio, he's a guy you could consider for DFS, but with all the other great options we've given you, you're probably not going to use him much.
Nope. Josh Williams in the 92 is going to return to DGM Racing again. He's actually got a multi-year agreement going on, but Josh Williams, another one of those guys. We talked a lot about him, especially in colleague equipment. He is a fringe top 10 on certain weeks. He's a fringe DFS on certain weeks.
I don't even know if he was a fringe top 10 guy at calling, honestly. It's probably DGM's a better fit for him. I don't know. If he doesn't park the car at Talladega, he might have a good finish, but probably not a guy we'll talk about a lot.
Probably not at all. All right, Viking Motorsports, a couple of solid drivers that we'll be talking about quite a bit as the course of the season goes on. The 96 has some fast pasta in it. Anthony Alfredo going to be in that 96. Look, this is exciting because, we do love us some Anthony Alfredo. We love that Dude Wipes money that he brings to the table and that Dude Wipes car and livery. But yeah, a good ride, and I think a good driver to fill that good seat.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw this Viking Motorsports spin up a couple of years ago. Matt DiBenedetto behind the wheel, get things going. They had the RSS partnership with Ryan Sieg over there. Sort of an extension of the Haas program, right? With Ford, they obviously both switched to Chevrolet. Viking followed with them. They're going to continue that partnership. That's great. Now we're up in it and they ran a little bit of 2 cars, I think, last year, but 2 full-time cars this year with a great lineup of both of these guys. So very excited. Fast pasta, Anthony Alfredo. He's a guy we talk about quite a bit throughout the season. I think we're going to get some opportunities for some good top 10 bets on him. He'll be a great DFS play. When it comes to the super speedways, Daytona, Atlanta kicking off the year, he's going to be a guy we'll certainly be talking about for both of those races. And pretty excited to see what him and the Dude Wipes car with bring to the team. So, I'm really liking this Viking Motorsports lineup this year.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Alfredo was in the 42 last year, and it just, couldn't really get a lot going for him. He only had 1 top 10 finish, and his average finish was 24.1. He had 8 DNFs, and I'm hoping that this Viking Motorsports infusion, this new Chevy partnership, brings some more speed into the pasta to make it even faster pasta. So let's talk about the 99 Viking Motorsports Chevy of Parker Retzlaff, obviously leaving that the full-time Cup Series ride and coming back down into the O'Reilly Series. I mean, you look, when you're the third fiddle in there and the bigger boy comes in and you got to find someplace else to go. That was Parker Retzlaff's lot in life, as Connor Zilic was like, "Yep, I'm the new man in the building." By Parker Retzlaff, we hardly knew ye in the Cup Series.
Yeah, but Retzlaff has actually been a solid guy, and if you remember, make it starts in the Cup Series in the 62 car. Where he almost won that Cup race a couple of years ago, and then that kind of got him in some trouble because he didn't help a Chevy or whatever. But Parker Retzlaff has been a solid driver throughout his time in the Xfinity O'Reilly Series. So looking forward to him. Again, I think this is a solid pairing of 2 guys, putting these 2 guys together. So I'm expecting pretty solid things out of this group this year.
Yes, indeed. So, look at 30. He had all 32 starts last year, obviously, in that number 4 car. And, it's just never really competitive the way we want him to be. So, hopefully, this gives him a new lot in life. And here we go.
I think I really do. This is an upgrade. I think this Vikings Motorsports team is better now. So, I think that he's getting a better opportunity here. And he's one of those iRacing guys that came up through that, but seems to be a pretty good race car driver.
Agreed. All right. That is it, I believe. Unless they got 100, do they have 100?
So the Sigma racing team, they bought out the AM Racing, and they're supposed to be one of the flagship Ford teams of 2 that are in the series. But we still don't have any announcements for drivers. So that car should still be out there. Who's going to be driving it? Is it going to be one driver full-time? We don't really know. So I guess just kind of TBD on that. And then just some part-time ones that we do have announced. Chastain is going to be running some races in the number 9 car for SVG or for JRM rather. And Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be in that part-time as well. Preston Pardus will be back for his part-time stuff. And then notably, Colleague has shut down their O'Reilly program. Obviously, with all the Ram stuff that we've talked about, they've shifted all of that. Basically, all their O'Reilly personnel were shifted over to the Truck Series to focus on the Ram program. So we won't see the traditional 16, 11, 10 cars out there for Colleague, as they've essentially just hit pause on that program. You would assume to pick back up at a later point when Dodge decides to enter the O'Reilly Series.
I wonder if they'll bring AJ Allmendinger into a Truck Series race before the end of the day. Can't do that, can they?
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. And another part of the conversation Rowdy and I were having is, he's a Chevrolet driver in the Cup Series, but it's the same team. And so I guess it depends if he has any Chevrolet part of his contract where he's contracted to Chevrolet, because it's not uncommon. Last year we saw Corey LaJoie race Fords in the Cup Series when he was racing, and then Chevrolets for Spire in the Truck Series. You're not going to see, like, Kyle Busch is a Chevrolet driver. He's not going to drive one of these Dodges, right? He might not race for RCR in the Truck Series. It might be Spire like it was last year, right? But it's going to be a Chevy to Chevy team. That does certainly limit their options for who they can bring over, but AJ on a road course on one of those Dodge trucks would be pretty sweet to see.
Yeah, I would absolutely kill to see that one. So, all right, that is it. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series drivers is complete. We will now move our attention to a lot of fun stuff, Cody. Now that the championship format has been released, all the odds are starting to trickle in, and it's exciting times ahead.
Yeah, we already have win totals for the Cup Series dropped almost immediately after the stuff was announced yesterday. That's over on Caesars, so stay tuned. We're gonna have there's a lot of win totals actually that dropped, a shit ton of them. So it'll be a 2-part series. Probably going to do that next week. We're still finalizing our schedule, but definitely hit subscribe over on the YouTube, hit subscribe on the podcast wherever you're listening, and be ready for that. And hopefully now we'll get some O'Reilly odds. We'll get some Truck Series odds. I would imagine those things have been sitting in the queue ready to go, but we needed to wait. The Cup Series, I don't think it changed. And I actually did want to bring up Denny Hamlin. Yes, Rod's over here. Just push the button. It's the nuclear code. It's ready to go. Push the button. But we talked yesterday, and you asked a question, and then I thought about it later, and I was like, wow. But you asked, who would the format change affect the most? And we didn't talk about Denny Hamlin, who clearly is the guy we should have brought up, because he's been a guy that's so consistent week in and week out, but can't get it done in the one race format. So I wanted to go ahead and mention that again. But yes, I would imagine that these odds have been sitting there ready to go. Pretty much lineups are finalized, right? Some Corey Heim stuff out there. He's probably not running full-time anyways. And Nick Sanchez, guys like that aren't going to affect things much. But now that we know the championship format, I would expect those odds to drop, and we'll have shows on those as well.
Yeah, I got to think that they were just sitting on there waiting for the big confirm button, the send button. That was what they were waiting for. So yes. I'm glad they hit the button, because that gives us a lot to talk about as we charge on in to the week of the Clash, and of course the week of Daytona, which is quickly approaching, my friend, and I for one cannot wait, which means if we end this episode now, we're that much closer to getting it going. So let's do that, right. Shall we?
Absolutely, let's do that, Rod. Make sure you follow me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. And Rod, over on our YouTube, the mega Daytona 500 betting picks episode is up and scheduled. Go click on that episode, click the bell. You're going to want to be there live for that show. That's going to be a lot of fun. Take the day off, clear your schedule, whatever you got to do. But go over there now, click that little bell so it alerts you when we're going live in a couple of weeks here. Super, super excited. I'm so excited for the season to be here. I feel like with the announcement yesterday, the playoff format or the championship format, we had some testing, and with Wilkesboro today, videos of that. I was just like, oh, yes, let's go. It's almost here.
It is almost here. We will continue to crank out the content for you as it draws ever nearer. So follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. You can find all the crazy stuff that I'm up to on that one. And like Cody said, we'll let you know what's coming up. I know that Cody got way excited and scheduled everything, so we'll take and reevaluate it as it goes. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is how exciting it is. This is how, like Cody said, it's a fine time to be alive. And we're just glad you're here with us. So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow with another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. And until then, let's make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing and let it ride.
We're talking